Hi, guys. Welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's August 23rd, 2025, and I'm here with my co host, Elijah Weintraub. Eli, how are you?
I'm doing good. It felt like a fall week this week with the hurricane style weather. We had wind. It felt like a fall day the other day. We have a
Yep.
great day today, a great week ahead, and a ton of sports to talk about. And we're going to kick things off right away with the monologue sponsored by Coriano Trucking of Summerhill,
And,
New York.
and that belongs to you this week, my friend, so take
Yes,
it
it
away.
does. All right, well, so we know the popular saying, out with the old, in with the new. It's been an iconic phrase for so long, and we use it all the time. But there's something new that I've been seeing lately. Are we seeing a possible change? Is the old the new again? Are we seeing a comeback? Are we hearing a new phrase or an idea? Stay or bring back the old and don't change to the new? Well, I've been thinking about that this week. And as I look back, there are three cases I want to bring up that has me thinking, is the old the new again? Here's number one in the first case. This past Monday night, Rich Eisen returned to host SportsCenter, which was exciting and thrilling, as we all know. But fans were even happier when the old school graphics and theme music for SportsCenter was used. And if you watch the YouTube video, you remember the old SportsCenter music from back in the day. It made a comeback
Sure.
the other day. It was such a huge moment. And the fans were commenting all over social media and YouTube saying, "Can this music return? This is giving me chills, and you're making a grown man cry." So fans were loving this so much that they were kind of hope for a mini comeback. So this is another case of, could we see a comeback? Can we bring back the old and don't continue on with this new style Sports Center music? Is this what the
Mhm.
fans really want to see and hear? That's case number one that I want to bring up.
Yep.
Number two, it's a non-sports thing, but it's controversial for sure. Cracker Barrel has decided to make some pretty big changes, which are making some customers, including myself, not happy. They're going to a basic logo, which is not great at all, and a modern redesign. Some of the iconic things that won't change, however, are some of the food items, the iconic peg game, and of course the rocking chairs, which are a staple to Cracker Barrel. Customers are happy with the old school look, and as it was an escape from reality, heading to this new look with a new logo doesn't make Cracker Barrel Cracker Barrel. So this is a case of, well, let's stay with the old. Let's not change to the new. Let's keep what works so well. This is one of those cases again.
All right.
And another case I want to bring up, the final one. Let's take a look at some music. Music has made such a comeback lately thanks to social media like TikTok and iconic shows on Netflix like Stranger Things. For example, Connie Francis' Pretty Little Baby made a comeback just this year because of TikTok. It was a 1962 hit. It made a comeback. And
Yep.
now the old is making a return. The old is the new once again. We're hearing this iconic old new music. And from Stranger Things, the song Running Up That Hill was used in the Stranger Things show on Netflix. If you've seen the show, you know. And that song was an iconic song back in 1985, and that is making a comeback in the past years. Again, another song, the old is making a new comeback. So let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think, are we going to be seeing more of these cases where we're going to have to stay or bring back the old so it doesn't change to the new? Or are we going to see more of out with the old and then with the new? What are your thoughts on this?
All right. Well, first and foremost, it's so funny because I remember when ESPN first started, and if you look back at some of the graphics and you see this in old highlights of baseball games and football games, it looks like it was 100 years ago and stuff.
And it was
But
awesome, though.
yeah,
And we
it
want that
really
back.
was.
Old is the
Yeah.
new again.
And I remember the original guys, George Grand was one of the original guys. And yeah, so the Eisens and these guys have certainly, like I said, it's been what, probably 40 years, I
Yeah.
think, but yeah, and it's great to see. We talked about Connie Francis a couple of weeks ago when she passed away. I mean, she was one of my favorite singers of all time, and I'm glad that she got some recognition. But yeah, the old, the new. I mean, it's changing,
It's
and
changing. But we're
yeah,
seeing a lot more of the old is the new again, and people want the old
yeah.
once more. We don't want to see too much of the new. And I don't know, maybe let us know your thoughts about it. Do you
Yeah.
think, are we going to get more of the new going forward? Are we going to see a little bit of a change? The old is making a new comeback or continuing to stay with the new?
Yeah, it's funny you brought up the Cracker Barrel logo and why that's made such a splash. I like Cracker Barrels
I
too,
do.
but I
But
didn't
even,
go there because of the sign, so
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
understand.
yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, just went so basic. It's like, what are we doing here? I
Yeah,
mean, the redesign too, like it was such an old country feel. Felt like, yeah.
yeah. Maybe the public outcry will be so big that they'll revert back to the original.
The CEO, unfortunately, doesn't seem like she cares too much. He goes, everybody loves it, which
Anyway,
I don't know. A couple comments before we move along. Orange News page. Good morning, fellas. Good morning.
good
And
morning.
Tom, how about the new Notre Dame Leprechaun logo?
I
That's
know.
another one.
I knew he was going to bring that up because I saw it yesterday, and it's actually pretty cool, Tom. I think I like it. And there you go. So here's a perfect example, Eli.
Yeah,
The old logo is out and the new one is in, and
right. Out with the new, but we're seeing some other cases though.
yep,
The old is the new, so it all depends on the situation.
yep. And thank you for the comment from our first loyal listener, Orange. What was that, Eli?
Orange News page. William.
Oh, William.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, William.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yep.
Eli. We got a busy day here, so let's jump into, and it's college football
Yeah.
to start, right? This is kind of, I guess you call week 0, and there's really only one game. All the marquee games start next week, but
Right.
you have Kansas and Kansas State, Iowa State in Dublin at noon today. So that's really the one ranked, game of the week.
For the
But
weekend. Yeah.
next week, we got an incredible lineup of Ohio State and Texas and Miami, Notre Dame, and games like that. We eat this stuff up. So
Oh yeah.
let's look at the preseason. The polls, right, which don't really mean a lot except it's the usual suspects, right? Let's go
Right.
down. Top 10: Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, defending national champions, third. Well, you can question
Well,
that.
can question that one
Clemson.
for sure.
Clemson really hasn't been relevant for a while, but they're up there. Georgia, of course, always up there, but they're
Of
only
course.
returning 7 starters from the team. So,
Well, that's a
Kirby
big
Smart,
change though.
yeah, and Kirby Smart has his work cut out for him there. And Oregon, again, they've been, year
They're
after
dominant.
year, they've been always up there, and they have a new quarterback, Dante Moore. And Alabama, of course, everybody's saying they didn't get into the playoffs last year. Is this the end of the success, that Nick Saban brought?
Right.
You could bring that up, but this is a big year. They got an incredible wide receiver in Ryan Williams. And of course, the quarterback now will be Ty Simpson. And then there's LSU. And again, it looks like Brian Kelly is on the hot seat because they paid him a ton of money to leave Notre Dame and come coach to LSU back to prominence, and he really hasn't done so. But they have a really outstanding quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier. So they're going to go as he goes. Can he be that kind of Joe Burrow type quarterback to get them over the hump? Well, we're going to see. So, you look at that top 10, and of course, those are the teams that deserve it, right? So you have Texas preseason number 1, and of course, that's directly related to Arch Manning, right?
Correct.
And a lot of debate whether this is 1 year he's going to play and then he'll come out, or is he going to stay for 2 years? He's already proven last year when Quinn Ewers was hurt that he's going to be that kind of quality quarterback. So look for Texas to certainly be in the mix all
No
season
question.
long, and he's one of the preseason Heisman favorites and so forth. And the interesting thing though is Ohio State is third and Penn State is second. But look at Penn State. They're returning a great running back in Singleton, and they got 3 studs on defense, and they're bringing, Drew Aller is back. So the experience, I guess, that's what went into the preseason voting, if you will.
They're a
But
dangerous team though.
can they get over that hump? Can James Franklin get these guys over that hump and beat Ohio State? So, that
That's the
remains to be
question.
seen. Because
But are
listen,
they
look,
the top team despite Ohio State? Yes, absolutely, no question about it.
yeah,
If
and
they despite the game,
they're going with a quarterback, Julian Sayin. And you know what? Yes, Ohio State lost Travion Henderson, who,
right?
by the way, I'm going to predict will be Rookie of the Year in the NFL.
Yeah,
And they lost Judkins as well. So, but the recruiting and all of this stuff that they're going to have incredible backs to replace those guys. So, Ohio State certainly deserves to be in the top three as the defending national champs. And, so when you go down the list and you see things like, Georgia, Carson Beck left and went to Miami. So now they're going with Gunnar Stockton. And, um, you know, first time quarterback. I think he got some time a little bit last year when Beck got hurt. But, and Notre Dame, we can't forget. I know Tom is brought up
Yeah.
already Notre Dame logo, and they're going with C.J. Carr as their starting quarterback, who, by the way, is the grandson of Lloyd Carr, former Michigan head coach. I don't know
Right.
how he let him get out of
With
Michigan.
that one, yeah.
And that's a team that I didn't even mention yet is Michigan, Eli, because
That's another team, yeah.
the team is in absolute turmoil, and Sharon Moore will be suspended for the first 3 games. But boy, did Jim Harbaugh really leave a mess in his wake. I mean,
Right. And it was,
and
I think you could say it was like the right on time to leave, right? As
yep,
you will.
yep. And I wanted to mention with Ohio State. I mean, you talk about. I mentioned Ryan Williams for Alabama, and him and Jeremiah Smith are probably the 2 top wide receivers in the country. So, if this quarterback is going to be good, he's going to go because Jeremiah Smith is just a freak of nature. This will be his last year at Ohio State. He'll turn pro next year, and they have one of the best defensive backs in the country in Caleb Downs. So here's another team, and I'm very interesting because I sit next to a young man who's a diehard, and Tom Pugh, who's already commented. Indiana was last year a fluke.
No.
I don't know. No, because yes, they have an outstanding head coach. They believe in this guy. But I looked at their schedule, and they got a pretty easy schedule. Even most of the big teams
Right.
have an early connect
Light
with the
schedule.
cupcake games, right? But they're in the Big Ten, and really there are only 2 big games out of the Big Ten is Oregon and Penn State. So
Right.
we're going to find out if they're real. After if they can beat those 2 teams, then I'll consider them. And they're starting. One of the preseason favorites is Fernando Mendoza as the quarterback. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. And as far as mascots go, Tom brought up before the leprechaun. Well, I think the Indiana Hoosiers just named the bison as the team mascot. Someone would have to explain that to me.
I don't know. I think the best mascot right now in the college football world is the Oregon Duck.
Or the Georgia Bulldog, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of comments I want to get to real quick. And appreciate all the comments, by the way. Eric, good morning to all. Happy Saturday. Thank you for tuning in. William asks, who is the surprise team in college football?
Well, that's what we're gonna find out.
Right.
Somebody brought up Illinois as a team, and they're ranked in the top 25. So I'm not so sure about them, but they could be, William. They could be one of the surprise teams. But again, they play in the Big Ten, so they're gonna have week after week after week to prove it. And we're going to find out if they warranted getting in the top 25. So if that was one team that I could say could surprise, but again, coming out of the Big Ten, that's a tall order. So
2 other comments. Andrew says, good morning, guys. Looking forward to college football game day, the best pregame show. And I have to agree with you. One of the best shows out there for pregame. I know, Jim, you're not a fan of that. But Lee Corso, it's his final game day this upcoming week. So it's definitely going to be a special one for sure.
Oh, no, I don't view it in the same light I do NFL.
Oh, with the NFL. Okay. Just want to be, yeah.
I like college game day. I always like Lee Corso. And by the way, Lee Corso used to be the head coach at Indiana.
Wow. And
so those are a lot of things that are, to look out for college football. It all starts next week. And like I said, here was an interesting thing, though. I saw preseason first team All-American team. And to my surprise, it was Cade Klubnik from Clemson. And I've been watching him for a couple of years, and I haven't been all that impressed to that level. Is he, an Arch Manning type? I don't know.
No.
But I thought that was an interesting thing. So, Clemson's been on the downslope for a while, so we're going to see. That could be another surprise team,
right?
So we'll keep an eye on this. But Eli, I'm excited about college football, and
I am too,
and
especially for game day. I mean, that's
yeah,
what I'm looking forward to. And the Pat McAfee kicking contest, the best part. I just want to say, uh, and a couple other comments I want to get to because I really appreciate the comments. There's a lot coming in.
you bet.
Brandon, Nebraska is his pick for the surprise team.
Oh boy, I don't know.
Yeah,
Brendan, I certainly can appreciate that, and from a historical perspective, we always like to have Nebraska in the mix. I just think they've had past few seasons have been awful, and I don't know if they're ready to get back into the mix or certainly compete in the Big Ten.
and finally, Willie Max. What about Rutgers football?
Well, here's always been the dilemma, and here's always been my contention, right? The top prospects, and Chiano's done a pretty good job of keeping some of them in town. But can they compete against that Big Ten schedule? I don't think
I
so.
don't know.
I'm actually going to go see Rutgers play Iowa in September sometime, so I'll kind of get a feel. It's actually a
Right.
beautiful stadium. It's nice, and
Yeah.
and
I
now
think
they
there's
play Big Ten.
potential, maybe for a bowl game, but not. I don't know. I think maybe a bowl game they can potentially aim for.
Everybody gets in a bowl game now
Well,
because the
not
lower
everybody.
place is 6 wins. I mean,
Yeah.
6 wins, you're in a bowl.
I mean,
5,000
not
bowls.
everybody though, but yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
All right, Eli.
All
So
right. Well,
that
let's
kind
go
of
to the
covers
NFL.
our. Yeah, let's go to the other, the pay for play league. Even though
Yeah.
college
College
football is
football's
now a
paper.
pay for
That's
play.
another argument for a different day, and I could
It
sit here
is.
all day and argue that.
All right.
But
Give us
let's
the
start with the big
NFL.
no.
Oh,
The biggest storyline is the Colts have named Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback.
how about
Whoa.
that?
Okay, I got a couple thoughts here. Well, clearly, there's no more faith in Anthony Richardson. So at this point now, I think they should end up trading him. See what else you could trade him for. Maybe he can be a backup somewhere and get another backup, have a potential. Because we know Daniel Jones is not going to be the answer for the Indianapolis Colts.
Hey, maybe Daniel Jones to change the scenery. He could show that
May
potential.
I don't see it though. I don't
All
see it.
right. I know all the naysayers, and full disclosure, I was wrong on him. I mean,
100%. We all were, but I don't know. I mean, considering that that's the if you gave up Anthony Richardson, but I mean, there's some sign there that there is no more faith in him, and how much more can the Colts keep him on for?
yeah,
I think a
and
trade is bound.
yeah, I don't even know if he has any trade value because he's always hurt. So
That's
yeah,
true too.
that was certainly noticeable that Daniel Jones will be the starting quarterback, and Shane Steichen actually said he's going to be the quarterback for the whole season.
Yeah,
So
unless something happens, but yeah, and
yeah,
that's crazy to think about. And
yep.
let's see how that ride goes, and it all comes down to week one for sure. But the other big name out there, Joe Flacco, is named the starting quarterback for the Browns for week one. What are we doing here? Like we're going, like I said, here we go again. The old is the new again. The old veteran quarterback
I
wants to
don't
get back.
really understand the thinking here. I mean, Joe Flacco, it comes off, and yeah, he came in, he was 4-1 last year, whatever. But you drafted two quarterbacks, Sanders and Gabriel, and you got Kenny Pickett. I mean, are we really thinking that Joe Flacco is going to take this team? He's not a Tom Brady 40-year-old guy either. I mean, he can barely get out of his own way. So it's more of the Cleveland Browns making decisions that Cleveland Brown fans are going, "What are you doing? I don't
Yeah,
get it. I don't get it."
yeah.
And
Uh,
Eli, do we have a quarterback controversy for the New York Giants after the
that
excellent
preseason.
preseason that Jackson Dart has had?
They're
I mean,
forfeit.
I know Russell Wilson will be the starting
There's no
quarterback,
question.
but you look at their first 7 games. I mean, if they're 2-5, then it's going to be Jackson Dart for the rest of the way, and he's going to take them into
I
the
don't
future.
know. I say it comes down to the first 3 games. And however Russell Wilson performs in those 3 games, that will determine whether or not he remains as the quarterback or whether or not we will see Jackson Dart as the quarterback. And keep in mind, they still got Tommy DeVito. They still got Jameis Winston. They have a decent amount of quarterbacks still lying around. I mean,
they're just, Cutlets is going to hold the clipboard. Jameis may get traded at some point, but they're going with Jackson Dart if Russell Wilson can't take him forward.
yeah. Brandon comments, he asks, how about the star of Hard Knocks, former West Point captain of Pride of St. Joe's, Jimmy Ciarlo? Uh,
Yep.
might have said that wrong. And the Buffalo Bills 53-man roster spot.
Yes, and I actually, Brennan, had a conversation with a diehard Bills fans, and he brought that specifically up because I watched them play against the Giants in the preseason a couple weeks ago, and yeah, he's gonna. If listen, don't know if he's gonna be a starter, but he's gonna make the team as a special
Right.
teams player, and that's how you some guys start. But yeah, that is a St. Joe's guy, and I love that a Wayne Hills guy brought him up. Thank you,
Yeah.
Brendan.
Well, a couple trades that actually happened this week. Commanders trade running back Brian Robinson Jr. to the 49ers for a 2026 sixth-round pick. Former Dolphins quarterback Xavier Howard is signing with the Colts, and the Texans are trading wide receiver John Mitchie the third to second to the Eagles.
Eagles, yeah, I saw that too. But he's coming off an injury, so I don't know how effective that trade will
Right.
be. Um, yeah, and the Jets got a couple of defensive linemen from the Vikings and so forth. So, this is a big year for Minnesota too. Was it
Right.
Sam Darnold that was the key to their success last year, or do they have a great supporting cast? They got the best wide receiver in football, but
A
is
lot of
JJ
questions.
McCarthy? They're going to go as McCarthy goes because they gave him the reins, and we're going to see what he does with them.
And I'm super excited. Next week, of course, will be our big NFL predictions week preview show. I'm
Yeah,
excited. I got my picks right. I don't know about you, Jim, but I'm sure you're working on it already.
I'll have
Maybe
my
there'll be
homework done.
surprises. There may be some surprises, so stay
Yep.
tuned.
And of course, in New York, right? The questions are already floating around. Is Justin Fields going to be able to take
No,
the Jets to the next level? And
no,
I actually hope so. I
really
actually hope he's a little bit more successful. I don't. I hope the Jets
successful,
don't
yes,
fall
but
for it.
the savior, no.
Yeah, no, but that's who they got. New
I mean,
coach.
yeah, I agree with that point. Maybe there. I hope that you're right. They are successful, but will he be the savior that relieves Aaron Rodgers? That
Yeah.
is it all? I don't think so. No.
And just a couple of things to wrap up because these holdouts that we were talking about, McLaurin, he'll get signed by the Redskins
Right.
and he'll be a top paid wide receiver. And the thing with Dallas and Parsons, I said this 3 weeks ago. He will be the highest non-paid quarterback in the league when this is all said and done. I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing and posturing and doing this, but he will sign and he will be there for the first game of the season.
Right.
A lot of NFL stuff, but yes,
There
you're
are.
right, Eli. That's our preview special next week. So we'll pick the division winners and so forth, and wrap
Yeah.
that up as we start the season in 2 weeks.
It's crazy to think about.
It is.
Let's head over now to Major League Baseball. And right now, the Yankees and the Mets, they're not in the top three, as you will, but they're hanging on for dear
Yep,
life, as you will.
yep. They're hanging on. Like I said, I mean, Judge hasn't been hitting, although he's starting to reheat up again, and Giancarlo Stanton is hitting. But you have to worry, when they win 3 or win 4 in a row and they hit 9 home runs in a game, and then the next night, the same thing. And the Mets, they do have a good pitcher up and coming. This kid McLean is going to be a good pitcher for them. And Soto is heating up, right? He's got 32 home runs now. So yeah, I think they're both going to make it into the playoffs. But some of the other divisions, like we talked about last week, remember we mentioned how hot Milwaukee was, and they're the first
Right.
team, to get to 80 wins. Um, yeah, this is the last basically almost a month left in the season. 5 weeks.
Pretty much. And we're at this point now. By next week, we'll find out who's in, who's out. And we can honestly confirm that it's going to be the White Sox and the Colorado Rockies that are going to be eliminated within the next week or two. And it's just about time.
I know, I know. What is going on with those franchises? I mean,
A lot of
and
things, but
yeah, keep an eye on this. This Rob Manfred is trying to. I don't know what he's trying to do. He's considering like a relocation of the divisions based on geography and stuff, and that's gonna, that's going to dip into the rivalries that, like the Cubs and the Brewers and the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Mets and the Phillies, although they'll end up still being in the same division. But he's got to ease up on some of this. First, it was bigger bases, and then it was the pitch clock, which I agreed with.
Right.
But the ghost runner thing that has to go. I mean, I'm a traditionalist, but you know, you got to be kidding. And I always point out, I say, when Mariano Rivera came in, you know how difficult it was to get a runner on second base? I mean, it was almost impossible. And now you get this thing. And like I said, it's ghost runner on second, an extra innings. You lay down a bunt, the guy hits a sac fly, game over. It's
Yeah.
I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't like that rule at all. At all.
Yeah. Um. Anything
All
else
right.
for the MLB? If not, I think we'll move right
Yeah.
along to the WNBA.
All right. Give us a little brief update
Brief
there.
update. All right, there. Well, Minnesota Lynx, of course, is the only team right now that has secured a spot in the playoffs. And this week we've confirmed that Chicago, Dallas, and Connecticut have all been eliminated from the playoffs. If we look at the national TV schedule for the weekend, Connecticut and Chicago is at 4 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, and tonight at 2 o'clock, a very important game, New York at Atlanta. Now, why is this game important? Well, today's Atlanta-New York game is going to hold a lot of value. If New York wins, they're going to move up the ladder. They'll move up to second or third place and have a better shot at securing a spot in the playoffs. Right now, because of their loss the other day, they dropped down to 5th place with ahead of them Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. But a loss to Atlanta today and a New York win could drop Atlanta down and New York moves up. So it's a very tight playoff race. And we want to see New York obviously move on to the playoffs and secure that spot. So it's just a matter of how many games can they win or not. But if New York loses, though, they are going to drop down and stay in 5th place, potentially even go further down the list, potentially miss that playoff. So we want to continue to see them win and secure that spot. A big important game today for New York and Atlanta today on CBS.
All right. Well, there are some other events that are happening right now. So today is Travers Day up in Saratoga. And, the Kentucky Derby winner and the Belmont winner, Sovereignty, is clearly the only horse in the race. It's such a small field. There's only 5 or 6 horses because this horse is unbeatable, certainly in the field that's there. So look for him to go wire to wire today in the Travers and win that. And then you ask the questions, what could have been if he ran the Preakness? This is a Triple Crown quality horse. And, like I said, there's really not a lot of competition today, but Travers is one of the biggest weekends up in Saratoga. And that should be always enjoyable to watch. Probably post time is going to be usually 6:30 nowadays. I don't know for sure.
Usually around that time. Yeah.
Right. So we got that going on. And also in the world of golf, right, we have the Tour Championship. Now, let me first explain something. It's hard for me to get excited about the FedEx Cup, and you start off with the FedEx St. Jude, and then you go, last week, which one was it? The BMW, right? Like Scheffler came back and he wins.
Did you see that shot though from Scheffler?
It was amazing.
That was amazing. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of golf. I can't sit there and watch a game of golf because I would fall asleep, and I'll be quite honest with you, and I'll admit that right here on the camera. But that shot was incredible. I mean, I haven't seen that in a long time, and that was amazing to see.
Yeah, and it was because, but when I talk about the FedEx Cup, so today is and tomorrow are the final 2 rounds to decide whoever wins the Tour Championship this weekend wins the FedEx Cup.
Right.
And to me, okay, it's another, so they get what, $10, $15 million, whatever the
usual.
It's not a major, but I do think from the world of golf that coming up is the Ryder Cup, and I'm going to touch base on this real quick. So,
right.
I think the big question will be, right, we already know who the automatic qualifiers for the Ryder Cup, the U.S. Russell Henley, DeChambeau, Harris English, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, and J.J. Spawn, right? Those are the automatics. And on the automatic side for the Europeans is Lowry, Rory McIlroy, Robert McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood, who is currently leading the Tour Championship, but we know his history. We
Right.
know he won't win. He'll come in second or third. Unfortunately, he's a good kid and I like him, but he just hasn't been able to get over and hasn't won on the PGA Tour. And of course, Justin Rose and Tyrell Hatton. So now it's the big decision. And somebody asked me about this the other day. Do you think um, I'm drawing a blank. The
Yeah, no worries.
no Keegan Bradley. The big decision is will he make himself a captain's pick and be the first time a playing captain since Arnold Palmer back in 1963? And I
Mm.
think there is no way he's going to make that decision to pick himself on the team, especially coming off since we lost the Ryder Cup to the Europeans last time. Um, it's way too much pressure to put on himself because if he doesn't play well, the captain's picks are coming out this week, and there's 6 other guys, and the usual suspects will probably be there. Um, the Justin Thomases and the Colin Morikawas and these up and coming guys. So this is a big deal, and it's being played at Bethpage Black. And I've been to a U.S. Open out there. It's one of the toughest courses on the PGA Tour, but it's home for the U.S. And I think Keegan Bradley's going to realize that if he picks himself and doesn't come out, that tarnishes his legacy completely. So I don't think we have to worry about that, but we're gonna get the captain's picks for both the U.S. and the Europeans this
Right.
week, and I'm looking forward to that in probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Bethpage Black.
Wow.
All
A
right,
lot of
Eli,
stuff happening, and I think now it's time to move on to some random points
yep,
sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut.
take us away.
All right. Well, as a reminder, the U.S. Open is officially underway. You can watch the games on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and the new direct-to-consumer ESPN app. So it's the U.S. Open season, and it's that time already.
Yeah,
Moving right along, the Battle of the Railroads continue. Yesterday, BNSF, a Midwest rail company, partnered with CSX to bring new rail service direct coast to coast, improving our freights. And this continues with the battle between Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern, who just joined together in a new partnership. Now CSX and BNSF have just partnered up. Another big milestone, as you will, in the railroad world.
okay. Little business news and random
Yeah.
points. Yeah.
And the last note I didn't have too much this week. According to new reports, the MLB is nearing deals to drop Apple and pick up packages with NBC and Peacock. Netflix is the high front runner to potentially get the home run derby, and ESPN is set to potentially buy MLB TV and potentially even smaller packages. So we will see when the news does officially come confirmed. But again, these are all reports. And even though ESPN dropped the Sunday night package, it wants to potentially pick up MLB TV like it just did with the NFL Network and of WWE and a bunch of other stuff. So just Disney and ESPN just want to pick up more stuff, and new contracts are going through potentially with NBC as well, which is pretty big. So we'll just have to wait and see in those matters.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I mean, I remember Netflix where they did was rent DVDs, and now they're this big player in
Right.
movies and
And shows and such a
shows
Stranger
and
Things, like that was another
documentaries
one.
and
Yeah.
sports. It's amazing how that
Yeah.
company has grown.
Just
Amazing,
grown. Amazing.
really has.
That's what I have. It's all yours, Jim.
All right, I only have a couple here. One was John Wall retires after 11 seasons, and I look back at his career. He was the number one overall pick out of Kentucky back in what was it, 2011 and 2010, something like that. Had a great career, but he was injured the last 5 years. And when I think about his legacy, you don't put him up there. Usually the number one pick, you expect great things. And I just he had a solid career, but is he a Hall of Famer? No,
No.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Eli, we were talking about football, the college football, and one team we didn't bring up because they haven't been relevant for a while, similar to what Brendan brought up in Nebraska, is Auburn. And I
Hmm.
don't know what's happened with that college program, but
No, I don't. Wow.
I'd love to see them back because when they play the Iron Bowl against Alabama, it's always exciting. But I hope they start making a bounce back. But the reason I was bringing it up because Auburn is retiring the number 2 jersey of Cam Newton. Um, and
Right.
that's interesting because there's only been 4 other Auburn football players, and there's been a lot of great football players that have come out. Of course, Bo Jackson's numbers retired. Um, Pat Sullivan, who won the Heisman Trophy in 1971, and he threw it to Terry Beasley pretty much all that Heisman Trophy season. His number is retired, so this is the 4th number in Auburn history. And I look back, and they've had some great players. It's hard to believe that
Right.
it's so few numbers have been retired. They don't do it as much in college as they do, obviously, in the NFL and stuff like that. But I thought that was an interesting fact. So that's it for me on
Yeah.
the
Well, it's
random
time
point.
for a brand new segment on our show. It's time for Photos and Food, sponsored by Vital Selections. You could scan the QR code to learn more about our sponsor, Vital Selections. But yeah, we're doing something brand new. We're no longer going to be doing for a little bit movies. Instead, we're going to be giving restaurant recommendations and picks. We actually had a couple emails and we brought it up last week. So I'm going to have Jim start it off. He'll give his pick, give some recommendations, and I'll give mine.
Well, just so you know, we do
Yeah.
listen to our loyal listeners, of course.
Yeah.
And, when we brought this up as a potential topic, got an email from Andrew Carolyn who suggested Patsy's Pizza in Patterson, New Jersey. And full disclosure, I have never been to Patsy's.
I've heard of it, but I haven't been. I think
And
I
I,
haven't.
I was gonna make a crack that the pizza may be great, but your car may be gone when you come back out.
Oh,
It's a tough area down there in Patterson.
yeah, but all right. And how about your pick?
But
What's
yeah,
your pick?
oh no, I'm going with Andy's pick this week. I'll come up with one down the road.
All
But you
right.
did
Well,
bring up Cracker Barrel, and I'm a big Cracker Barrel
you're a big
fan,
cracker.
by
Me
the
too.
way.
I'm a big Cracker Barrel fan too. Yeah. All
Me
right.
too. Me too.
Well, my pick for the week will be Cafe Tivoli. It's in Richfield, New Jersey. It's an Italian restaurant. That's one of my
Uh-huh.
favorite places to go. So check that out. We have actually a couple comments. William says, "What about Bella Italia in Orange? Never been."
Never been.
All right. Well, we got to start. This is great. I like this segment
No, but
already.
see, this is exactly what we want.
We
We
want.
want
We want
somebody to tell
engagement.
us. Now we know about Bella Italia,
Italian
and
and Patsy's and Cafe
yeah.
Tivoli. And of course, everybody knows Cracker Barrel. If you haven't been, we're going to take a road trip there. But yeah, but
What
all
was
right.
yours again, Eli?
Cafe
Tell us.
Tivoli in Richfield, New
Cafe
Jersey.
Italy in Ridgefield, New Jersey.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really good Italian food. So check it out.
So I'm sure everybody else has their favorite restaurants, and
And we'll go down the list week after week, new picks. So let us
yeah,
know.
I
Some
like
great
this
picks.
segment actually.
Yeah, I like this segment now. I really do. But now we move right into some photos. Well, we'll start off with this one.
Yes, and Eli, this week is a little bit unique because I'm tying the photos into our notable passings, and I know you have some, but let me start off with this. That's Ron Turcotte eh, um, posing with Secretariat after he won the Kentucky Derby, and I brought it up because Ron Turcotte passed away at 84 years old, and
Right.
he was the jockey on the greatest horse of certainly my generation, probably of all time. I don't know. I haven't run into people who didn't know a little bit about horse racing and know how prominent and great that horse was, Secretariat. As a matter of fact, I actually watched the Belmont Stakes video of him winning by 31 lengths, which is one of my favorite sports moments of my entire life. I got goosebumps watching it. And Ron Turcotte was 84 years old, and subsequently, after Secretary retired, who, by the way, just so you know, he wins the Triple Crown, and then he races in the Travers Stakes, which is today, and he didn't need to do that, and he didn't win the Travers Stakes, so that was kind of a
Wow.
blemish there. But Ron Turcotte subsequently had an accident on a horse. He got thrown off the horse and was paralyzed from the waist down for the remainder of his life. But he was the jockey, very very notable to me. Um, and he was 84 years old, but that certainly um, it resonates me. And
Notable.
if folks, if you haven't seen that the highlights, Eli, I even encourage you to go to
Absolutely.
YouTube, type in Secretary of Belmont Stakes, watch the race because it was like neck and neck for half of the race, and then just the unthinkable. He
Happened.
turned on these super jets and won by 31 lengths. It's really, if it doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what would.
Yeah.
And now
Really does.
we have one other picture, and this ties too.
It's another notable passing, right?
Yeah, and this is I, this was my buddy. This is my daughter's dog, my son-in-law's dog, and he used to come visit me and stay with me, and I loved it, and he loved coming, and I used to put him out on the little ledge out there, and he used to sit there and watch stuff go by. He was my buddy, and unfortunately, they had to put him down this week. He had a great life, 13 plus years, and I will miss that. And Eli, you and I talked before the show to say whoever came up with that saying that dog is a man's best
You're
friend,
never wrong.
it
No.
was it couldn't have been more relevant for me with that little puppy, and I'm gonna miss him
Wow.
terribly. So
Very sorry to hear about that.
yeah, but a cute dog too.
Yeah.
It was a bowl of noodle. It was a bolognese and a poodle mix.
Wow.
Anyway, so
Well, I got a couple more notable passings.
yep.
Caroline Klein, the chief communications officer for the Utah Mammoth and Smith Entertainment Group, has passed away at the age of 40. The NHL reported last night.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic TV judge Frank Caprio has died at the age of 88 because of cancer. He was born in 1936, and man, was he iconic! The videos of from his rulings and everything. It was such a funny good show. He caught in Providence.
I heard about it, and he was this a judge, and he was known for his videos that he showed in
Yeah,
court or
caught in
something.
Providence. Yeah.
And I never heard of the guy. I don't know who
Yeah,
he was.
it was iconic. You'll see it if you are on Instagram or Facebook or even on YouTube Shorts. He's always entertaining with the kids. He's like, that's such a powerful. He was such a powerful judge with the kids, the people, and everything. There was such an iconic one with the other. I don't know when it was, but he was with the U.S. Veteran. He got a red light ticket. He was in court. And he goes, "You could keep the hat. You can do this." And he was just talking about the storyline. He was forgiving. He goes, "You don't have to pay for a ticket. You served in this war and everything. Why do you have to pay for this ticket?" He was
I
such.
like him already.
Yeah. You just take a look at one of the videos. I'll have to send you one later. But what a great judge he was, and he was funny. He was all over the shows on YouTube. Caught in Providence was the show he had. Really an amazing judge. So I got to send you the video. But yeah. The last one I have, Terrence Stamp. He was a British actor known for playing General Zod in Superman. He has died at the age of 87.
Now I'm assuming that was the Christopher Reeve version of
Yes.
Superman, not the new one, right?
No.
I think I know who Terrence Stamp was. It's one of those. I know the name, so if I saw the picture, I'd say, "Oh, that's Terrence Stamp."
That's who it is. And then you'll realize you hear the character. I'm like, I think I know him, and you're like, yeah, that's what it usually comes down to.
Well, there's one other thing I wanted to bring up because I know this is a big week for you, and you know what? It's a big week for Seton Hall University to have you as part of their broadcasting department and so forth. And I wish you all the best of luck, Eli. Doing the show with me has been a privilege and an honor, and we're going to continue to do this show throughout your collegiate years.
Yes, I will. Absolutely.
But I wish you all the best in your new school and so forth. And yeah, maybe we'll do a show down at the Seton Hall Broadcast Center one day.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. But yeah, I cannot wait to continue on this journey. It should be fun.
Yeah, that's got to be exciting for you.
Yeah.
And this is the start of school year, so everybody's getting back to school. I always remembered it being after.
It's early. Well, I mean, college is always
Labor Day. Yeah, it seems
college
earlier
is always before Labor Day, but some of these other schools, like down south and everything, they already started. Just up here in
Yeah.
like the Bergen, North Jersey, New York area, they start later.
And tell us, Eli, you mentioned you're going to be part of the broadcast team for the Bergen something.
Yes, Bergen Stars. It's a Pee Wee football league. I did a couple games last year. They played at St. Joe's last year, but now they're going to Don Bosco where they're going to be doing games. So I'll be doing some games and Sunday public address announcing come September. So I'm super excited to get back for another season for that.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah,
That's great. And by the way, so we were talking, so your St. Mary's
kicks
school
off this
starts
weekend.
this week, Thursday night, and
Hmm.
my alma mater, St. Joe's, starts on
30th, you said.
30th, next
Yep.
Saturday. Yeah. And I tell you, when we look at the schedule, they're playing like 4 out-of-state teams in the
Oof.
first 4 weeks, at least.
That's how they got more, they're more powerful and how dominant they
Yeah.
are. But I just
And,
want to point out though, these guys are lucky because I saw the other day they had a media day at MetLife Stadium. I saw for high school football because I saw Bergen Catholic. They were posting that they were at MetLife High School Media Day. I'm sure St. Joe's was there too, but I think the
oh,
bigger schools they had a media day at MetLife this week.
I wish I knew about that, actually. I
Yeah.
didn't.
I'm not sure about seniors if they went or not, but I know that the big schools, like I saw Bergen Catholic, they were there. I'm assuming Don Bosco was there, and I'm sure St. Joe's was there.
I'm sure they were. I'm
But yeah,
sure
it
they
was
were.
a big media day at MetLife for high school football.
But these, both these teams, all three, St. Joe's, Bosco, and Bergen, we know are the elite in New
In New
Jersey and
Jersey.
in the Northeast as well. And when we talk about these teams, we each year there's like 6 or 7 Division I players that come out of these high schools, and it really is amazing because I love to watch them, in high school and go on. And St. Joe's has had guys that have gone on. The McCourty twins and Edric Ostame is on the Denver Broncos now, and of
Right.
course Tommy DeVito with the Giants, and uh, Jabril Peppers, and these are guys that go to the NFL, and certainly Bergen Catholic is no different. And
Right.
it really is. It's great to watch. It's very exciting high school football to
Yeah.
me. And
William actually comments. He has some notes about it. He says Super Football Conference Media Day was held. That's what it
yes,
was in MetLife. And he says also high school football opens up on Thursday night.
yep,
And
and
yeah,
yeah. So this is
thank
also,
you,
like
by
I
the way.
said, exciting. And
It really is.
yeah, that super conference. I'm telling you, these guys play an SEC like schedule. It's great to watch. So
Yeah. And by the
that
way, I just want
starts
to
off.
say, go ahead.
Go ahead, Eli.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
No, I'm good. I think we covered a lot of
Yeah.
stuff today.
I just wanted to say that thank you to everybody who commented. We had so many comments, a lot of people watching. I really appreciate that. We both really appreciate that. And we thank you for watching as usual. And we'll be back as
And
usual 10 o'clock next Saturday.
yeah, and I actually have to make a note because last week I wished my our sponsor Coriano Trucking guy's birthday, but his birthday is actually this Monday. So
Oh, happy
again,
birthday again.
now he gets happy birthday again. He doesn't actually have to add a year on, because
Right.
we gave him 2
We gave him
birthdays.
2 birthdays, right? So we could act +2 on that one. But
Yeah, he's still younger than me. So
well, that's
but happy birthday, guy.
yeah,
And like I said, Eli, good luck this week as you start your Seton Hall career. And I agree. Thank you for everybody who commented. This was a busy day. And we got a lot of emails during the week from Brendan Conley, Andrew Carolyn, and so forth. So we thank you guys tremendously for the support you guys have shown us. And
absolutely.
Eli, production note, we're back at 10 a.m. next Saturday.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So let's roll with it.
Even though our Friday Night Lights has been a very rousing success.
But I think I don't know. I think this week is going to do pretty good. I got some
Yeah,
hope.
we're going to do good. All right, everybody. Enjoy
Have a
your
great
week.
weekend.
Yep. And watch the Travers, and we'll catch up next week. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one.
Okay, bye.
Bye.